Roos! I need Roos! Oh, there's a Roos right there. That's not a Roos right there. That's a German, no, Norwegian. No, we don't know what Viper is. Viper is an enigma wrapped up in a puzzle. But we got him here up against B. That's right. Viper ranked 64th in the world going up against the person who's actually ranked numero 1. I don't know if you guys know this, but B, let's see, this is right here. The hashtag beef or Wololo. Sorry, beef or Wololo is B. He got number 1 on leaderboards. Pretty impressive actually coming out from him. Thought it'd be cool to check in on him clashing with the AoE GOAT. And I found them in a cheeky little Roos mirror. So what better way to do it? Especially on a map like Highview, man. Kind of a classic for it. Remember the days when it just used to be horse archers everywhere? Pew Pew Pony on Pew Pew Pony? We're not going to get that this time, right? It's going to be someone else now, right? Maybe. We'll see. Maybe it turns into something. It'd be fun if it was more like night micro-focused than just peppering everyone down Varrows. But I do feel like a lot of the time, especially when I see the Roos on Highview, it still becomes that horse archer situation. Part of the logic compared to other maps is that Highview is incredibly open and there's a lot of ambush points. So you tend to get in and out of horse archers more freely. And you usually do want a dynamic unit in that midfield. That's why I suggested Knights would be a little bit cool to see, but wouldn't be surprised if it does just become normally horse archers. Well, of course, one big deal is the bounty system, one that Viper is dictating right now. He's got his own little pack of sled dogs going back to base. Looks like he's actually yoinking a lot more than what Beef is getting right now. I'm going to keep calling him Beef. Actually, a really good start overall, right? So he snipes the deer in both locations. There's probably 1 or 2 wolves still unaccounted for. Yeah, over here. And B... Oh. Yeah, Viper's darting over there right now. He might actually snatch the wolf, but not get the deer, which is actually better for him than the alternative. We'll see. It looks like he's actually going for the wolf now, but Viper... If he darts for it now, he can yoink it. And yeah, B now sees he needs to go for the deer instead. That's the easy value. Doesn't want to fall further behind. I mean, it seems like I'm over-focusing on this small detail, but folks, this is actually a very big deal. Small things make big differences in mirror matchups. There is nothing small about an extra 100 or 200 gold. And you can see how they're just skirting with each other right now. Skirting and flirting. And oh, Viper tried to be cheeky about it, unable to do so. Notice that he keeps clicking to show that he's still present and doing things. And... B was on point with that one. He gets across to the other scout. In the meantime, it looks like Viper was snooping in the alternate corner. Doesn't get anything because B had already been up there. So overall, a little bit closer than it was going to be otherwise, but Viper's still coming out ahead with the tier 2 bounty system, so the extra 5% food gathering rate in place. Not to mention the fact that neither of them actually have enough for... Wait, yeah, they do. One more about. They've got the wheelbarrow, and they'll have enough for the tech up, but... I think the difference here is that Viper will have enough for a Knight at Tech Up, and B won't. It's a really big deal, actually, because one Knight blocks out a lot of plays. It means that if B wants to go for some sort of TC drop on a ball, which we know he absolutely loves to do, he might struggle to do that. Meanwhile, on the other side, Viper, not only could he go for that more gluttonous play, he could also block out the potential via his own Knight. And considering that he's starting off by dropping the Wooden Fortress, I don't think he's going to TC rushing out in the midfield. I actually do think this is going to be a stable play once he techs up. A lot of people working on that tech up. 7 people, in fact. B did go to 8, though, and that means we're probably going to see a pull towards either the boar or the deer here. See which he opts for. But now, actually, it's just going to be onto the wood. Interesting choice here. Then again, this could be like a delayed pump towards a secondary TC. In fact, I expect it to be a secondary TC when you see this many people working on wood. 14 compared to just 4 on food. Meanwhile, on the other side, Viper still hasn't completed that tech up yet. Really are seeing a big difference here. Also housed himself. Ooh, look at that efficiency. No seconds missed on villager production. Actually beautifully done there. So tech up now complete. He's going to go for the Wooden Fortress, so some prolonged value out of the wood line now. The difference, though, is B only initially went this hard onto wood because he clearly wants to get the supplies gathered so that he can trade into the gold and then immediately buy 2 stones. But this will delay his TC timing, so I think instead he might just have to accept he needs to tap a little bit of gold along the way. We'll have to see, though. He's on the move. I mean, this might have to be a hunting cabin then. No, it's not. So here's the thing. If it's a hunting cabin, you bring 8 people. He brought 10. This is definitely a TC drop. Just my issue is, like, how are you getting the stone? Did he notice? Oh, wait. He's getting from the ball kill. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Ignore me. All right, there we go. I'll buy the stone now. The problem is, play, like, I think in my mind why I was a little bit reserved about this play is what happens if Viper snipes that ball? Like, if he snipes that ball somehow, that's just kind of GG, right? You're going to be so far behind that stage. So it is slightly gambly, but it seems like Viper didn't want to contest him in the slightest, which is a little bit surprising, as I actually did expect Viper to go in for the stables quite early. In fact, he's incredibly delayed on getting the stables down, which means this TC is a freebie for B. I'm kind of wondering what Viper was doing with the initial influx of resources then, if it wasn't getting a night rush out. That's kind of the crazy. So he's going for his own TC boom, right? You can see he's gathering stone, but he's so far behind. I very much was expecting, especially with the superior bounty that Viper gathered initially, for him to just rush the center with one night. Because I think if there's one thing I can almost guarantee you would be, it's that he's going to build a second TC as the Roos. I think out of all the players in the game, nobody is as frequent at building a secondary TC as B. I don't think I can recall one game where B has gone one TC Roos. I can't remember the last time I can recall a game where he didn't build a TC on a ball, for Christ's sake. I mean, it's ridiculous how often he does it. Viper now resorting to berries. Yeah, he's going for a Castle Age rush. He's playing condensed, really condensed here, in fact. His TC timing is going to be so delayed by this configuration, though. You can see he's going to have to rely on supplies, so he's going to trade wood and then into stone afterwards, but it's a heavy delay for him. Might be that he just opts to use that stone instead elsewhere, but if this was the plan, it's not going to be a great plan. The villagers are out, and this is a good pull by B. Even if you complete this Wooded Fortress now, it's not worth it, especially with the second wave coming in. Shiv's out. It's going to push him away. It's only a horseman so far. Viper, he's being so stingy right now. B will just commit to kill the Wooded Fortress off now. More villagers coming out, but whoop-de frickin' do, says B. Even more villagers coming out from the Orange Roos. He's going to start to peel back, show a little bit of respect over, but realistically, he just could commit here. Shiv's out. It's peasant warfare right now. He's pulling back the injured villagers, though, so not too bad. However, the scout getting stuck is pretty bad in this situation. And it looks like it is going to go up. Wooded Fortress complete. B is going to be pushed back. Frustrating. The reason why he contested this, he wanted his ball. And if that knight had come out just a little bit sooner, he probably would have it. In fact, he might still. As the arrow slits haven't come out just yet, I think he can get down to at least 1,200 left on the board before he gets blocked out here. Decent play in the end by Viper. A very messy play, actually. Did force him to double down so he couldn't rush his castle anymore. You can see the difference in resources. And now if you're Viper, you're actually quite frustrated that you went berries. If you were going berries to the quick castle, this is good. Now you're just playing a kind of losing battle in terms of food income. You need to get some knights out to prowl the mid-map. But it seems like he's continuing to double down on horsemen as it stands. Already up to 5. On the other side, though, B, as you can see, is only gone for knights. He's going to get a lot better value. That Rax reaction is taking time, so that's going to delay Viper further. In the meantime, allowing B to escalate his villager lead and still gather on that ball with half the number, because arrow slits just ain't cutting it anymore. Wait. Viper knows that the arrow slits got nerfed, right? I'm not sure if he does. He probably does now, because like this, I'm pretty sure old arrow slits would have hit this range from what I can remember. But he has to be looking at this right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he was streaming this, he was going, why am I not attacking? Why is it not attacking? Well, buddy, I've got bad news for you. Different time. Different outpost. Arrow slits, one less range than they used to have. And that really is the difference maker there. Meanwhile, back at home, B will continue to increase his knight count. And Viper, playing Prolonged Feudal as well, is going for all 3 unit types. And yeah, you can see the only way that Viper can solve this is a second Wooden Fortress, but this one might prove quite dicey, especially now with archers plus knights as the composition for B. He can just counter you. He can move in and easily snipe your villagers out. The move into position quick. Archer count up to 5. I mean, he could actually kill these villagers before they complete the Wooden Fortress. It's going to take a very long time to get it up. Remember, it takes a minute. Meantime, Knight's pushing away all the horsemen. And, well, B actually content to not dive this. He got half the value out of the ball, and there's still that gap with the arrow slits being upgraded, right? Unless Viper wants to garrison troops inside. B, in the meantime, his eco is so much bigger. It's 46 to 29 as it stands. Viper buying more stone, but only buying it to get the upgrades and the arrow slits. He still has not actually gone ahead and built a second TC, so he needs to stop this right now. If he cannot kill this town center in the next 2 minutes, I think B is going to get too far ahead. B, interesting choice here. I actually think he's intentionally diving around this wooden fortress so that he doesn't get attacked on the ball. And because there's no arrow slits, he knows he can still... Dude, I love this out of B. This is such a cool detail. Even if you try to click the villages individually, you might just misclick it here. Now, he does get it right, but at the end, that allows B to extract most of the ball value. There's only 700 food left here. So it becomes a worthwhile endeavor. He'll stay hard on the gold, and the rest of the villagers can now run back over to the deer berry patch. And after that, they can easily flood over to the extra deer berry patch. Something that Viper is now finally doing, but he's doing so in more exposed areas. And I'd actually have to say B got the better spawn for deer play overall. Like, this has to be very infuriating for Viper. I think he now knows that based on the generation, he can't extend this game. So he needs to find a way in quick. And that's why you're now seeing Siege Engineering being pumped. Flash in the center. Oh, that was an auto-aggro Viper. Oh, no. That is a heavy hit. What was that? 3-4 horsemen going down? Almost 2 more as well. And now the villager pool. He's going for the deer. I don't think B knows for sure that Viper's here, but he suspects it. Because think about this logically from B's perspective. Where else would Viper be? Not here. Unless he went for the ball on the north side. But if he did, you get confirmation here. And worst case scenario, you just take the deer in this area and put another proxy base. Viper dodges death. So scouting vision comes in from B. He knew about this. He'll drop a wooden fortress straight away. And the deers are now all his. And oh dearie me, Viper's going to be forced to fight. This is a fight you don't want to take, by the way. Archer counts are even. But the Knights are going to be the critical detail. More so than the Spears, in fact. Wooden Fortress now looking to be rushed up by Viper. Archers are going to stand their ground. Undermesh has been taken on both sides. Wooden Fortress is up and in place. And Viper, while he can try to block out this, it doesn't matter. Look at the Wooden Fortress placement. Look at the deer. This does nothing. This Wooden Fortress, once again, won't reach. Especially considering B is going to start with the Southern Deer. Oh man, Viper. I just feel like he's been one step behind this entire game. B just has his number. You can see the ram choice now by Viper. It's really the only thing he can do. But what he's doing this. B is going for his main base. And he's in the middle of a farm transition. Worst time possible for Viper. Strike in. He's got textiles, sure, but it's not going to count for much. Not against this many Knights. And the idle time, missing out these farms you just invested in alone is going to sting you. Anything that B likes to do is definitely sting. Wooden Fortress now going to be garrisoned. He's going to take the fight because this is now a bad fight actually for Viper to take. I mean, look at the spears, the horsemen. They're going to be targeted down. Wooden Fortress being assaulted, but whoopsie daisy. Spearmen weren't looking. No brace comes out. He baits him in, and the spearmen are all but gone. This is now a fight that B can actually just run over. You'll see him look to commit again. Last of the spear is about to fall. After that, all the archers are going to be gone. I think Viper's done. The second wave comes in. B has that much resource bank. He's able to build a second army. And Viper realizes he can't win one fight, let alone 2. So it's time to wave that flag. Oh, man. I would say that this game was, in some regards, in Viper's hands and kind of thrown away. I think some details to look at here. Viper, for a start, I'm very, very surprised with the resource bank he got at the beginning of the tech up. He didn't opt for the early Knight. I expected a Knight because B is always going to look for these optimal timings on a TC drop. He loves going for the quickest possible time on a TC drop and usually forfeits any type of military presence to do so. The fact that Viper didn't identify this and go for a stables into a Knight is problematic. There's an argument that maybe he can't even get a Knight out quick enough, especially considering his delayed tech up timing. But then the counter argument is possibly you just choose to invest more villages to tech faster, right? That detail alone can maybe be forgiven. The detail that stung him ultimately here was the Wooden Fortress placement. That first Wooden Fortress, you saw B fought against it at first, and then I think he eventually realized it wasn't going to be close enough. He peels back. The Fortress goes up, but he continues to gather boar. He even actually reluctantly gathers with only 4 on the northwestern side to ensure that he's A, close to the TC, and B, definitely out of arrow range. Even with that other Wooden Fortress being dropped, there's such a big delay. The build-up time required, the idle villages that you're using to build it up in a situation where you're clearly outnumbered 2 TC versus 1, and then also the wait to get arrow slits for the additional range. All these details compound, and it just led to an even bigger lead for B. And once you reach that point, B realizes the only way that Viper can stay in this game is if he plays off of proxy bases, of a pocket ecos, right? He has to go for the deers. He checks north side, no one's there. The only option is south. What does B do? Doesn't hesitate to use the Stealth Forest to run all the way down and ambush the villager force. And even though Viper does a great job of getting out, the damage is already done. You're not gathering food at a critical point, and you saw the difference in numbers. Viper's military count wasn't escalating anymore. Meanwhile, B was gathering so much food, he had a second army building at home. Pretty clean game. It shows you how brutal Roost Mirrors can be if you slip up on 1 or 2 small details early.